division. The rest, though, they were in that gold division all throughout. Even as high as third place, finished several times, but just could not break through against a couple of those later times. So, anyways, the point being, this team has experience. They've been around for a long time, but they are constantly going through roster issues. But don't let that fool you, because we saw there in that game number 2, when things come together for them, they could definitely make some big plays, and they can be victorious, even against the likes of Willowkeeper. Thus, why we are here with a game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. So, man, it's an interesting route, but we are here for our third and final game. Let's take a look how things are starting off. Accursed, the first ban. Now, that tells you something. Accursed, Ophelia, Crack, and Silhouette overall, yeah.
To be fair, I don't think a curse was the biggest impact in that game, but I guess it does have a 100% win rate in this series in particular. But going back to the last game, though, I think just the Witchslayer call really not having a big impact. Silhouette just was not shut down in lane, and just that's what the hero does if he gets enough farm. And I think that shouldn't be understated, was that Super KG played incredibly well. Like, the amount of ganks he did, and then always going to the team fights as well. I think he ended on like 8-2 and 12 or something ridiculous. And Super KG, although he hasn't been practicing with his team, really having a big impact just as an individual skill.
Yeah, he's been a HON player for a long time, and yeah, again, whatever the reasons, the BMG disbandment there, it's safe to say, he's still playing HON, having some fun with it, every streaming every now and then, and he is, of course, one of the better players we have seen ever on the competitive scene. So, definitely, I think Coolio was feeling pretty good when they picked him up. And even when we were talking to Fuse going into this series, he made that point. He's like, yeah, that is a little interesting to see. They got Super KGE, but, what he was pointing out, that's for good reason, is like what roles were ultimately everyone's going to play. Well, Super KG's playing the role that he is comfortable with, and that's what matters for him there, of course, in that mid-ganker here. So, I haven't seen him play the hook hero necessarily, but we saw plenty of good plays on that Deadwood, as you were pointing out right there. So, anyways, the picks finishing off, talking about things here. Magnus, Engineer, Empath is how Coolio is going to start. Deadwood, Swiftblade, and Madman coming out for Willowkeeper. So 3 heroes that are going to require some good amount of farm early on here.
Yeah, and I think trying to play maybe the finesse style of HON. In the last game, though, I guess they had I think it was the Valkyrie was in the last game, but yeah, the Witchslayer as well. They're like, let's just forget about it. Let's go back to what we know. They're picking up a second call with Madman, most likely in Boxy's hands, and the Deadwood obviously for Krake. I think for Coolio here, I think they picked up the Empath because they saw the Swiftblade and they was like, it seems like when I was speaking to Marcus more as well, it's just that they're really, really scared of tree running aggressive tri-lanes. I mean, they haven't been running it a lot, but I guess it's always been in their arsenal, and Swiftblade Empath is one of those time and tested sort of combos that is just incredibly strong. Not only that as well, Marcus Moyne plays a lot of those sort of hard carries. Doesn't really like to play like, the Doctor Repulsors or the Hags. Likes the hard carries, and Empath, inside of hard carry just has that great synergy. So.
Final ban going to be happening here until the final picks. 2 picks on either side. Glacius, Puppet Master, Rhapsody, Dr. Pulsar, and the Riftwalker. Of course, so very support heavy here on the side of Coolio. Again, already having the dual support themselves. Knowing that Tree doesn't have any yet. Makes sense. Oogie, the final ban from Tree. Interesting stuff there. But again, Coolio's just one of these teams too. We're not going to know a whole lot about them because we haven't casted them the most, and so, what are they doing for run and whatnot? Ooh, they go the Clanks. How about that? They're going to... Now, again, you know Marcus Moy quite a bit. Does he have a history playing Clanks?
He likes a lot of those range carries, like I said, with the Silhouette, but he plays a lot of Clanks as well. He always used to, before Clanks was sort of a little bit buffed, he always used to say, pick it, and I was of the mindset of that hero is completely trash. I'm never picking that hero for you, but yeah, a great hero, and I think in this game as well can work very, very well, because he's going against a 3 melee core lineup as well, which should not be understated. If you can pick up the Wingbow as well, can have a big impact. You've got Magnus and Engineer as the frontliners as well. So I think Trio are going to have quite a hard time getting into the backline of Clank. So in the team fight, as long as he can get a lot of farm, which he normally does, Clanks can do a lot of work. Because who's going to get to the backlines? It's going to most likely be Deadwood, but if Clanks getting supported by the Magnus and Engineer, if Clanks can go unaddressed in these team fights, and there is the Chronos. I mean, I mentioned it in Game 1, Breaky, but honestly, after seeing the Clanks, I didn't think it was going to happen. But again, going against a 3 melee core lineup, Breaky, there is a big potential here for a lot of big team fight, and that's where the Chronos comes in, along with the Engineer as well. Yeah,
Chronos is an interesting pick. Going back to what you did say that first game, the idea that possibly as their hard carry, now this time around, obviously that's not going to be the case. Clanks is going to be the hard carry, probably more of a suicide Chronos, going back to his history that he had, especially in that Season 2 presence. Again, the biggest thing, though, he did get a big nerf to his Chronosphere, which is why he ultimately started to die off pretty much completely after Season 2. And the fact that 25% less damage done for those that are outside of the Chronosphere, dealing damage to those inside of it. So, you know, it still is a very powerful tool. It still is great for initiating with. Yeah. It still is great for locking down the opposition, of course. But, I mean, that nerf did hurt it quite a bit as well. So
the hero is still incredibly strong, though. And also, you got to factor in, you know, Magnus will jump inside the Chronosphere, so he won't get the 25% reduced damage. Although Clanks will, if you can get a 2, you know, if you can get a 1, a 2, even a 3-man Chrono Field, 5 seconds, Clanks will take the 25% less damage if you're locking down all 3 of the, you know, melee cores, even with 25% less damage. And yeah, I mean, when Tree pick up all 3 of their cores, though all 3 are melee, before, you know, the second picking phase, you know, this is the stuff that's going to happen. They are going to get counterpicked, and as they are, I think the only issue here that Coolio may run into is if they, you know, will they have a good laning phase? It's a little bit greedy, Clanks and Kronos. A little bit greedy, and obviously in game 1, that is the reason why they lost. They pick up Witchslayer again here with Tree, but that will most likely be in the second support role, which I think actually is not too bad of a fact here for Coolio, because like I said, the laning stage will be the biggest issue here, but with the Witchslayer, isn't the biggest threat in the early laning phase. Will be in the mid game, but the early laning stages, you know, won't be big of an impact, because Witchslayer not too strong in the early levels.
Yeah. Yeah, going with the Witchslayer again. Didn't work out last time, but as you said, this is going to be more of a secondary support here. You know, going back to Kronos, it kind of hit me too. It's like maybe that's even more reason to get that Staff of the Master. It actually makes it that much more powerful. The fact that nerf did happen to his Chronosphere, you know, now they could just go inside the Chronosphere with you. I mean, I'm not saying that's realistic in the end, honestly.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Definitely, but the only thing is that Clanks wants to obviously, he's going to reach a 3 melee core. If he gets in range of any of those 3 melee cores, he's probably going to die, because they're all going to do a lot of damage, particularly obviously the Deadwood early levels. And if he picks up the Chrono Field, like, he's going to first have to run into the Chrono Field, and not only that, he's going to be really slow as well. So it's I don't think if it's going to. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be picked up. Honestly, maybe if this Clanks was like a Dark Lady, then I could see the benefits of it. But in this game, in terms of positioning in the team fights, I don't think it's going to be worth it. Honestly, yeah. The rest would be a lot more favoured.
All right, here we go. This is game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Willowkeeper versus Coolio. The playoffs are here. Important matches all throughout these playoffs, every single one. Again, you win this tournament, or you ultimately get nothing out of it, is what it comes down to. The winner goes to Thailand. Everyone else, they say, gee, good luck, have fun. You know, hopefully you had some fun playing some Han, but getting nothing more out of it. So this is interesting that we're in the game 3 here. Definitely when you may least expect it, but it is what it is, and that's where we're at. So here we're with the laning stage now. Clanks, of course, down here at the bottom. You got Boxy already setting up to do some creep roll. Look at Empath. Look at that.
Really well played. That's a great presence of mind then. Boxy don't think was going to be able to get the pull off now. That pull would have been such a big help as well, because he's going against a defensive tri-lane, and now he's going to have quite a hard time, honestly, getting XP. So really well played from Arch Tiger there. That's not the easiest sort of idea to sort of check that, but really well played from Arch Tiger right there.
Yeah. And, yeah, you see Madman. He falls back, and not much he can do about pulling the creep wave now, so that's definitely going to hurt his start here. Now, he does get pulled some regen, at least.
If he does pull that, though, he gets automatic level 2. Not only that, does he ruin the lane equilibrium here for Coolio, and obviously just gives no XP for the supports either. So really nice play there from Arch Tiger.
Top lane, you got Swiftblade going to take the creep wave initially, wants to get some good lane positioning here. Kronos needs to be careful off the bat. Witchslayer and Torture going in. They know he has LA. Look at Torture's positioning. Waiting for him to perhaps time leap, but yeah, with the tower being there. Good job by Time to Die, not panicking and trying to use it right away. Instead of just running away, knowing that that's what they're going for, and plays it safe.
I think he's got lane control. No, support's done a good job, actually. I think they denied every single, or auto-denied all the creeps there, so they actually got lane control. They pulled an archer, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal, so it's all good.
So now, I mean, how long do they stick with this, though? Because, again, Kronos is not the easiest to kill, especially if he starts getting a couple levels into a rewind, start proccing, and...
They won't be able to kill him. They'll have to start pulling, but I think they just want to make sure they get maybe a couple of level advantages here on the Swiftblade before they start, pulling for the Witchslayer, for example. Obviously, the strat here is going to be get Swiftblade level 5. Obviously, the rank 3 Blade Frenzy, start stacking up the jungle as much as possible, give the lane to Witchslayer, and Torture will still be on boxing out duty. Kronos looks like he's even going to take the yellow camp or even try and threaten a kill mid on the Deadwood. I don't think he'll be able to threaten a kill because he doesn't have the Bash Curse of Ages, but maybe if they stun lock him with Engineer and Magnus, he might be able to threaten a gank, but we'll have to see.
Man, Archie Tiger has got some great presence in mind. We know I saw that earlier on to prevent the pull, but he also spotted Madman again, doing some good harassment and knowing what's up. Now, as I say that, Boxy, still able to hold his ground somewhat. Again, he had some pooled regen on him, so that helped right there. Yeah, the haste stream picked up by Deadwood in the meantime. Yeah. Gets it just before. Empath can get there, so. But going back to the bottom lane now, but yeah, Kronos said, I've had enough at the top lane. I'm going to try to get levels elsewhere. As he makes his way into the jungle, especially getting that time leap first. He's pretty slow farmer here, but better than nothing in the end, so he can do with what he got. Super KG once again going to have to play a big role here, playing the Magnus here in the middle lane. He's also in a favored lane as a result of how it's set up. The NG Magnus, pretty old school combo there, going up against the lone Deadwood. For now, Torture is rotating over, but safe to say they're a little bit behind already.
Yeah, I don't know if Torture is going to be able to do much in this lane, though. I mean, Deadwood has a level advantage over Magnus, but Engineer Magnus I think, is a little bit stronger than the Deadwood, yeah, so he's just going to back off. I think Torture is just focused on stacking, obviously, waiting for Swiftblade to get level 5, which he's very, very close to, and then he can be on maybe boxing out duty, or maybe the Kronos, for example.
Keeping an eye on creep farm here. Swiftblade doing a really good time. 20-8, 21-8 now. Baltazar managing to get nearly every last hit at that top lane so far as creep farm is concerned. You do got Magnus, though, again, 20-2 here in the middle lane. He's continuing to do very well. Deadwood only 7-0, even despite being a great last hitter when you're 2v1. Of course, makes things a little more difficult to freely get those last hits. So it doesn't have a bottle just yet either. It's actually just got enough gold for it, so going to be delivered here. But Magnus well ahead in that sense, has the bottle already. And the 4-minute rune coming up, actually, so he manages to get that. Madman going the side lane bottle here, with that said.
Yeah, he's got a lot of farm, actually. He's actually got more farm than Marcus than my end. I've been watching this lane quite a bit, actually, and Empath is just one of those heroes that isn't able to really box out Madman too well. Madman is one of probably the strongest 1v2 suicides, honestly. Can just get last hits with the stalk. Very, very hard to kill, and Empath was not the best boxing out, but Kronos actually here trying to threaten a gank. They do have dust. This could be a really big kill if they can catch it.
Yeah, obviously no bloodlust skill just yet either. There's the dust coming out. Wall off? Yes, they will wall him off right there, force him to run right into Kronos. He does not have more mana. He does have mana battery. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Archie Tiger gets credit.
Really nice as well, because Kronos isn't going to do anything in that top lane, and they needed a kill onto the Madman because he was taking over the lane, honestly. He had more farm than Clanks, and you know what Boxy can do if he gets a slight advantage in an off lane, for example. So, really nice kill, and just nice rotation from time to die as well.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, again, Tree doing the clockwork thing here. They get the early level 6 here on Swiftblade. He got Steam Boots. Now he goes into what's already a stacked jungle, as Witchslayer will now take over the lane. Excuse me there. Again, this is what they do so often. In fact, see some more stacks coming out right here. Swiftblade already looking good with his farm. It's even going to be bigger and better now. Deadwood in the middle lane. He's being collapsed on by 3 heroes. Kraken, can he somehow escape from this?
Nice
no, he cannot. That kickstone lands, and even without it, I mean, well, they probably did need it, actually. So that was definitely a good kick coming out from Storyfooter. But yeah, I mean, look at Swiftblade's farm, though, again, continuing to go up because now these stacks here especially. But it falls off quite a bit after him, to be fair. So they're going to be relying pretty heavily on Baltazar. Madman's diving deep in the meantime in the bottom lane. He wanted the kill on Clanks. He still might get it.
Gonna get it.
Yes, he is. The flashbang comes out. Can he get the turn kill, maybe? Madman's taking some good damage from the tower. Health potion. Nice wall off. At least he gets the turn kill. But yeah, Boxy diving deep there.
Yeah, and this just goes back to Boxy. Although he still did die, he still got so much in that lane. And I was watching it, Moxmoy just having, as he should, to be fair, a hard time against a Madman and Empath. Like, it's not like an Luna or even like a Torturer. Just hard to really box up Madman.
So back to the middle lane again. Deadwood after that death. He does have his Willowmaker now. I know he wants to find that opportunity, but for the time being, Magnus with the Steam Boots alone is a little too tanky himself, so going to need to find somebody else if wants wants to be using that. It is a haste rune top. He's actually going to be picking it up here. So possibly could make a play with that. Of course, there is nobody top on the Legion side, so. Super KG. So busy with these phone calls, man. Such a popular guy. But yeah, I mean, this goes back to, though, Tree, you know, in a sense, this has been brought up many times before. They're somewhat of a predictable team as far as their strat that they do run here, and we're seeing that yet again. But to be fair, it's Coolio not necessarily locking it down the most. And again, it's not easy by any means, but they're making use of their jungle despite not having a jungle hero. Doing it very effectively here. On a Swiftblade, at least. So getting that portal key on Magnus, as usual, going to be the keynote here. I mean, yeah, so you got Magnus up there, but again, as we're talking about with Clanks, and again, it also really drops off for them. So it's going to be an interesting early game here.
And this is the draft as well. If they can get over the lane phase without sort of conceding too much to Tree, they should be fine. But with Clanks having a bad start, and obviously Kronos being locked down because obviously going against a defensive tri-lane, they're having kind of a hard time in this early game. They really need to secure this bottom lane, though, and I think you could even argue Engineer should sort of sit down here completely, because they need good farm on Clanks, and they need to make sure that Boxy does not get out of control. This mid-game is definitely going to be on the shoulders of Super KG, which mostly it always is, it feels like, for whatever kind of team he plays for. But he's got good farm, and really, if you compare the playmaker or the tempo controller for Tree, you know, Krake is doing very, very hard time. So I think in that respect, actually, Witchslayer is going to have to pull something out of the bag as well. So, yeah, we'll have to, only time will tell, for example. The one good thing, though, that I have seen, Kulia have got a lot of stacks here in the jungle. So obviously, you know, Tree do their own thing with Swiftblade. They can definitely do their own thing with the Clanks as well. To sort of give him a needed boost in the lane. Because obviously, after dying once to the suicide lane, not very good, obviously. So very, very disheartening.
Yeah, you can't forget about the Chronos as well. Of course, that Chronosphere, again, going to be the idea, at least, to be a big impact here for Coolio on this Legion side, and getting a good initiation with that. That followed up with the Magnus. He talked about, Super KG, not only just throughout history, again, that's just kind of the role he plays. He's that, especially as of late, the Mickey, in a sense of, he plays well. His team usually has good success. In this series, no different. I mean, even the first game where they got demolished, he was actually doing pretty good on the Kraken early on. Yeah, the only one to be doing pretty good, to be fair. So, try to set him up once again in that position to be the role of jumping into one. Clank's bottom lane, though. Yep, he's in a lot of trouble. Torturer. Now, Mammoth doesn't have a stun, of course, so it's not the easiest to initiate on here. He does have a slow, however, and Deadwood? Deadwood actually gets the kill onto, I thought I got confused there.
Oh dear.
He picked off Empath onto the side, and meanwhile, Clank still get picked off by Torture and Madman, so.
And this is what I was saying, they need to secure this bottom lane, and Engineer obviously wanted to help out mid, but that Haster in top lane, though, as you said, Breaky, made the play, and it really has cost him. So Clanks is now lower GPM almost than the Witchslayer from Tree. Not looking good at all. They really do need to sort of set something up down here bottom, and they're stealing all the stacks as well. This is the recovery mechanism for Clanks.
Yep. Well, they're gonna maybe get a pick off at least. Madman, he's left behind, and beautiful lockdown onto him. So at least they get something out of it.
It's really important that Marcus got that kill as well, though, because he was at 190 GPM. So good kill at least. This is something.
Magnus can go back to the middle lane now and continue to farm there. Again, he's still a little bit off of that portal key, but hey, at least things slowing down a little bit at the bottom lane again, especially with Marcus Moy on that. Clanks getting the kill. That's some good news to see. He also gets the Steam Boots finish there as well, so good early progression coming out. As far as the Hellborn side, again, Witchslayer, even though this is a secondary support Witchslayer, it's safe to say he's having a much better start than the farming Witchslayer was last game. He's already level 6, and on top of that, he has 1,000 gold saved up. He's well on his way to a fairly good timing portal key here.
Yeah, and this is where I love seeing Deadwood middle lane.
Yeah, going to be jumped with Magnus stunning the eruption on top. The Keck's on just in case, and down it goes Deadwood. He got the Rotten Grasp. Chronos taking some good damage. Oh my god.
Oh! That shield proc, man.
Oh, that was, I thought he was dead for sure, honestly.
The 60%.
Just 60% enough mitigation. All right, well, he stays alive. Madman going in and deciding it's best to not really go all the way in there. As Could have got caught out with a possible stun. So this tower, it's very low on life, but not low enough for a deny at least. I'll come back to that later.
That's the one good thing that Cooley have got going for them though at the moment. They are really shutting down Kraken and obviously boosting up Super KG as well. I mean, Magnus, one of those heroes that probably has a little bit of a harder time making plays than, for example, say, Deadwood. You know, you compare Super KG in Game 2, for example, set up kills left, right, and centre. But still, obviously a good hero nonetheless. And they're doing Ancients now as well, so I think this probably will be actually Magnus's portal key now as well. And maybe I think if they're going to set up a gank, they need to set up a gank on the Witch though. They've struck down Deadwood quite enough now. And if they want to stop tree making plays, it's going to be the Witch should be starting to get focused down. And with Swiftblade's, you know, farming the jungle most likely, Witchlight probably is the most likely candidate. Although he's going bottom, set up another kill, most likely on Empath or Clanks in the jungle.
Yeah. You mentioned Magnus doing the Ancients. It's taking him a while here because, again, no eruption or anything like that, but he is going to eventually finish them off. And yeah, Portal Key definitely in the works. But back to the bottom lane, Empath just simply counter-warding. Well, not counter-warding for long, says Deadwood. Easy kill onto him. And down falls Empath. So there's that pick off that you're talking about was in the works at least. Magnus still has a couple more Ancients to kill off, but again, just not able to do it just yet with the fighting power. Wants to pick up the top rune, though, which he does before Swiftblade gets it. It happens to be Invis. And he'll use that to go back over to the Ancients and finish those off, which will be his portal key now.
Oh, Clank's dead.
This rate is Clank's dead. Madman's chasing. Yes, he is. Is it going to be in a bad spot, then? Now, they have a Chronosphere if they want to use this right here, but...
Oh my god, Boxy. That was so sick. Like, it seems a very, very small thing there, but if Kronos gets sight of Madman, he instantly just pops the ulti there. He actually juked right behind this little juke spot here behind the trees, made sure the press couldn't see him, and then stalks away as well. So, yeah. Really small play, but had big consequences.
To be fair, I don't know if they would have used it because it's just engineer nearby. I really don't think they would have had enough damage.
Yeah, I guess, but Boxy doesn't know that, though. Boxy doesn't know that.
No, yeah, he made a good juke nonetheless. But
you're right, though.
Yeah, possibly out of there anyway. So
come on, Breaky. Whenever Boxy makes a play, you gotta just.
It's an absolutely huge play, always. I mean, hell, diving once again to take out a Clanks here. That's of course a big play. And Clanks. Now Clanks is again an intriguing hero. He needs so far to ultimately be effective, but at the same time, he can recover. He does have the flash farming ability, so. Yeah,
but I think that's just the benefit of having Madman Suicide. Like, obviously, you just max the Q and W, and it just does so much damage as well. And for a carry that doesn't have a good starting lane because of this Madman, and then you pair that with with a Clank that doesn't have a high HP pool, only 872, can just easily get bursted down. I think he was quite low from the neutrals as well. So, yeah, just a good pick.
Not sure why we're in this pause here, but looks like Willowkeeper the ones to pause it. If anything, could possibly be a strat pause. Again, with so much being on the line here, and we're in this Game 3. This is it. The winner of this moves on in the next round. Again, to clarify what that means here, this is the Group A brackets. Winner will move on. They face the winner of Fresh versus Night Raid. And then if you win that next series, then you go all the way to the next stage of the playoffs. Whereas in the losers bracket, again, if you lose here, you'll just be dropped out of the losers bracket. One loss away, though, from ultimately being knocked out, and you got the trek to make. So safe to say the winner's bracket, as it usually is the easier route here. So both of these teams striving for that. Willowkeeper, we definitely knew, but again, Coolio's kind of been the early surprise here as far as kicking things off with the playoffs now. By the way, just a very quick note, they made a very minor change in this patch as well that actually does not allow teams to pause within 3 seconds of each other. So the constant pause, unpause that we were having every now and then, teams like Sync and whatnot, you can no longer do that. So you're welcome to those teams. Well, I'm not the one that implemented it, but it's in the game now is the point. So small thing there. Bottom lane, Witch Slayer is waiting for somebody. Waiting for somebody to maybe go to this creep wave. Almost was Empath. But she decides it's safest to stay back. Magnus is going to port in. And cut his way through the trees, and he's going to play a little
He's got portal key as well. Yeah, they're looking for the kill.
They want to get somebody here. Maybe it is the Madman if Madman goes to... Oh, they know he's in here. Or no, they're going to go for Empath. That's what it is. Magnus channeling the eruption. Can't survive long enough. There's the line stun. It hits them both. Is it enough for the kill, though? Witch Slayer? Yes, it will be enough for the kill on him. Madman's still on the run, though. Flashbang, he has to go the other direction. Good job by him initially. Can Boxy some way, somehow get out of this. Another stock. No, it's not going to be enough. And down he falls. So they get Empath, but clearly not worth that exchange right there. And now this is going to be a bottom tower kill. Well played by Coolio.
Yeah, and actually that was the perfect person to come in there as well. If that Clank dies there, I don't think it's even worth it, honestly, if they get the Madman and the Witch Slayer. But with obviously Empath dying there, just fortunate timing again for Tree. But just good heads-up play from Super KG as well. Like he just knows exactly where the next play is coming, and like just knows like 426 GPM right now. Really is just playing such a stellar game.
Yeah. And so both teams kind of switching counter pushing in a sense, getting a tower kill and backing off of that. Swiftblade actually stealing the Legion Ancients in the meantime. Only a single stack and actually taking a little bit of time here to clean them up again with that spin beam magic damage, and these having some pretty high magic armor. Understandable. It's taking them a little bit longer here, but there we go, finally finishing them off, and we'll now go back into his own jungle here. But yeah, Swiftblade's farm continues to go up and up as expected, nearly 475 GPM now. He did go the Abyssal Skull route, so more of a defensive, just helping a farm kind of style. I mean, sure, he does bring the great team presence, but not the most aggressive build either. I assume we're going to see just the usual, more the Firebrand and going from there kind of build. As things develop, middle lane, nice stun of that torch right there. He's coming in for the 9. He's going to be picked off right off the bat. Witcher's in trouble as well. Chronosphere comes out. Now, does he have enough damage by himself? I don't think he does. In fact, he's going to be stunned. Silver Bullet, he says, rewind this bitch. No rewind to be had, though. He goes down, and a 1-for-1 exchange. Now, they did get the tower kill, but Chronos almost left alone in a sense. He hasn't actually leveled up rewind yet, so no chance.
That's the manly build breaky. No backtrack. Yeah, just a little bit of an overextension there, but still decent trade. They still get the 2-1 tower, and Kronos is doing okay as well. So I think they're fine with it, honestly. I think I saw Super KG was thinking about going in for Portal Key and stunning, but didn't want to risk it. So
gonna get it in time. So again, the tower and the hero again being torture, but maybe a back and forth if anything. But Swiftplay now even taking more creeps in the Legion jungle here, but Magnus continues to contest with him, man. He's already another nearly 2,000 gold saved up, so very likely going to be a tablet follow-up here.
Yeah.
Follow on him, but Baltazar, or not Baltazar, but Clanks is the hero that you're really focused on, which, again, he also has kind of stepped it up a little bit now.
He needs to recover, though, because if he doesn't recover, like, the Swiftblade is just going to out-carry him, put it simply. We talk about him doing a lot of work, but that's only if he can get the farm, honestly. The draft, I think, is definitely probably in favour of Coolio, because of just how the team fights are going to pan out. Like, if Clanks can get enough farm, just sit in the background, and, you know, as long as Magnus and Kronos are on par to make sure that Clanks is safe in the back, and then the team fights just have to go in the way of Clanks, honestly.
So top tower push. They do Kongor initially. Now this is not going to work though. In fact, failed Ro4 from Engineer to lead the way. He's going to be spotted, however. And here we go. They got to know something's up. They're still committing though. This is big. Double damage on the Swiftblade, by the way. They really want this. And it's going to happen. Here goes the eruption, though, from Mavis. He's going to be hit by Torture. It will not be stopped, though. He stuns, and on top of the spin, down goes Torture right off the bat. Madman's caught out. He's taking some good damage. He, too, will fall. And Swiftplay says, I don't want to fight this. Chronosphere catches him, actually. And now Clank's going to be able to right-click now for Londo. Wears it pretty quickly, and a swift slash just with the Willowmaker. It just drops Clanks right there. So that was one of those cases where, sure, trying to defend Kongor is one thing, but going in right after they actually kill Kongor and get the token usually ends up pretty bad. And we see another case of that right here.
I think Engineer's dead most likely as well. No,
oh, man on Witch Slayer. Yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah, I think honestly that was, I mean, I'm going to call it out, but that was a little bit bad play from Marcus Moore as well. I don't know whether it was a team decision or not, but after that Crown Assault was popped, everything was already used. Magnus used his Eruption, and where else is the damage coming from? Clanks does not have the farm to really burst through the 25% obviously reduction through Chrono Field. If Clanks is, 500 GPM at that point, yeah, sure, go for it, but that should definitely have been the disengage after the Chrono Field was already used. Swiftblade already had his stuff up, so did Deadwood. The buyback was used. Oh no, buyback wasn't used, sorry, but yeah, just they blew everything, and they should have definitely backed up out of the before the Chrono Field, sorry.
Yeah, and don't let Clanks' inventory fool you. It looks like he has a Nullstone plus a Sustainer. No, that's just the pattern of the Nullstone, so he still even needs a Blessed Orb to finish the Nullstone in full. So yeah, I mean, with how underfarmed he has been earlier on in this game, I 100% agree with you, and obviously maybe the hindsight thing too, sure, but it's something that they should have probably seen themselves going into that fight, it's safe to say. So, learning from their mistakes, though. Again, this is, as far as experience goes, as a team, still not necessarily there with even Super KG being added today, right before the playoffs started. But, hey, they're going to need to learn quickly on the fly again. They've taken a game off of Willowkeeper, even. That's why they're here. So they know that they can defeat them, but can't make many mistakes against a top-tier team like this, that is for sure. Witch Slayer pops the Veiled Rot. He's looking for an opportunity. He obviously has that portal key, has the Striders. I don't know if he necessarily can get a solo kill, but, oh man, Clanks is so squishy, though. Maybe. Only 720 life with those agility steam boots here. So he is very vulnerable, especially before that Null Stone. But yeah, he's going to be fine as they fall back, as Coolio was sending in their reinforcements into their own jungle. So they back them out. Swiftblade in the meantime doing his thing at the top lane once again. 500 plus now gold per minute. Has the Frostburn finished. Another 500 gold saved up, in fact, and is pushing this top tower. Kronos is coming in, though. Wonder if Coolio is going to look for a chance to defend this here. Only 3 right now for Tree. Deadwood's in a pretty good spot, though. He's in a position that's probably not going to be seen. He has a level 2 Willowmaker. Do they have TPs? A couple of the heroes do. Engineer and Magnus do, at least. They're not going to do it. No, they say screw it. They want to get a kill elsewhere, and at least they'll do that. So they sacrifice a tower, but they do get Witch Slayer picked off here.
Yeah, good trade, definitely. I think at the moment... Ooh, middle lane.
No, the Rotten Graph didn't hit, and able to stun away, so... That was close, though. Is Madman going to chase? I mean, he has another stock coming up. No.
Oh, Torture.
Jeez, all over the place. All right, Torture gets picked off. Oh, he was almost by himself over there, so... Well, Coolio, again, a couple of pickoffs, actually.
Yeah, it's still decent. It's just this Clanks that they need to make sure that this Clanks is getting farmed, because just without it, they're not going to be enough, unfortunately. Top lane Kronos might be in trouble.
He does have rewind. We'll see if that comes into play here. Oh, yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. The fact that he's still going up is not good news for him, Deadwood. Now, he's going to wait for Swiftblade to come nearby, at least.
I think Deadwood should engage. And,
oh, man. Swiftblade, if anything, making it pretty obvious that they were going. Now, he's still going to be able to find him, maybe. Oh, really? Oh, my gosh. Bottom lane in the meantime. Boxy gets picked off. They will port in. Energy field is down. It wears off right there, though. Deadwood, yeah, he takes him out right there. So, Magnus goes down, but that was crazy, though. I mean, the fact that Kronos was able to stay alive, and now he goes back to farm, actually. So, but yeah, Magnus for a Madman here.
I think it's not too bad, though, because like I said, the game plan there for Coolio is just create space for the Clanks. Clanks needs to bounce back from his kind of poor start. I mean, he's got 350 GPM, which is okay, but it's just not going to be good enough. When Swiftblade's sitting at 540 GPM and Krake and Witchlight have kind of got their core items, they just need to make sure that this Clanks is doing work. Because the team fight's coming, and although Magnus is doing very, very well, after the Eruption is used, I mean, he's not going to offer too much else in the team fights. Kronos, Engineer, and Empath are all kind of sort of set up. Magnus, he's got a little bit of setup and a little bit of damage, but Clanks is going to be the real bulk of their damage, and without him farmed, I mean, team fights just aren't going to go as well. So the game plan is just sort of split push, don't engage unless Clanks is far enough ahead in terms of farm.
All grouped up now. Tree pushing this bottom tower. And I say all grouped up. Obviously, Madman not with them. He is making his way down here, though. And you do see Coolio rotating over on the mini-map. Veiled Rot on Engineer. Doesn't have an energy filled up just yet, though. Not going to be able to get in there. And Deadwood will say go back to the lane with Swiftblade and continue pushing it in. How about this, by the way? Glowstone picked up by Kronos.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll talk about lag, because I think this team fight is going to be incoming, actually.
Yeah,
but
it's very possible.
I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, it's good for mana regen and stuff. Sorry, not mana regen, but for...
stats in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a jump, though. Clank's going to be jumped initially. There's the Chronosphere in response on 3 different heroes. Actually gets pushed out by the turret. Windshare gets his line done off, though. Good to survive in the background. So the Chronosphere, unfortunately, not doing the most in the end. And now Magnus just trying to live right here. He stuns out. He is barely going to survive. Portal Key's still alive somehow. But his teammates are dying in the process, including Balthazar. Wow. Clanks who comes back in. I just always assume it's Balthazar, apparently. But he gets picked off again after the buyback.
Yeah.
That's a genocide for Tree, and it's hard to come back from a fight like that, especially.
Yeah, when you buy back in and die and you'll carry on the hero that needs to be good. I mean, unfortunately, this game is over just from that one team fight, ridiculously. But that just comes down to execution, honestly. Kronos ulted on top of Magnus stun. Obviously, communication or coordination is playing a factor there, but I didn't think they should take that team fight anyway, though. Clanks was not in the position he needed to be if they wanted to take that team fight. It was only a tier 2 tower in the end. It wasn't, Rax, for example, they did not have to make that play yet. They did, and it cost them very, very, very dearly.
Yeah. So Coolio overstepping their boundaries, definitely a little bit right there now, nearly 22 minutes into this game, and it's a pretty significant lead here for Willowkeeper. And again, Swiftblade, he's highly regarded as one of the most powerful heroes on the scene right now for good reason. A hero that even received several nerfs in the last balance patch and is still considered a top-tier, good, powerful hero. And once again, we're seeing why here. Belchstar has his hands on it. Dawnbringer finished, 28 more 100 gold saved up on top of that. You got another nearly 3,000 saved up on Deadwood, 1,600 plus on Madman. He's going to buy a Shrunken Head here as he gets back to base. So just a lot of items starting to kick in now for Tree. And then again, you look back at the Legion side, you just barely have a Nullstone finished on Clanks, who also just used a buyback to just die shortly after. Not much else other than that, unfortunately. I mean, even Super KGE, he's actually going the Hellflower route. He is almost there, to be fair, but at the same time, he still has a little bit of distance to go, so he's not going to have it for this possible next fight as bottom lane. Yep, they're going to jump right here on a Chronos, and that's a free kill coming out as Deadwood lands the Falcon Punch. Stun on Magnus in the meantime, Silver Bullet on top of that as well. Not enough for the kill initially. He will counter stun on a Witch Slayer, and Witch Slayer now all of a sudden in trouble. Energy Field is down, but the Shrunken Head Eruption comes out from Magnus, doing some good damage to Deadwood initially, but in the long run, the fighting power for Tree is clearly too much. Another Genocide and a hat trick for Boxy to end it all. And so once again, I don't know if Coolio is going to have much more tank in the gas here. Gas in the tank, wow.
Taking the gas. I think they put up a good fight. They really did, though, and I think they could have definitely took this game 3. But it just goes all back to that team fight. Obviously, Clanks just was not farmed enough, and the execution was just not there. Obviously, because they weren't playing, or they haven't played as a team too well. So execution and sort of coordination isn't just right there. But I mean, they played very well. But I think coming back, particularly after that team fight break, I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, Willowkeeper again, they clearly determined on a mission here, ensure a little bit of a hiccup initially in what was a first round matchup in their Group A. But in the end, the W is what matters, as we always ultimately go back to. Again, not 100% over just yet, but it's very likely looking that way, pending some amazing miracle comeback from Coolio. And definitely some mind laps here from Tree. So, from their perspective, with that said, if you are a Tree, don't think that this is 100% over just yet. Know that you still got a little bit more to play out here, but again, good reason to feel comfortable. Now, as I say that, Engineer coming in with the Veiled Rot, again, trying to be a little sneaky with this, taking some risks right here. Actually just going to put a War Sight behind. Middle lane, Madman goes right on a cleanse with that Brutalizer. Gets a proc off. Nice wall from Empath, though. It'll keep him from chasing.
That was a really good wall.
Just saves his teammate, really. But yeah, Madman doesn't really care too much. And he'll go back to farming himself. Again, that Brutalizer is going to do work here on a hero like Madman with that attack speed. Here comes another Congo attempt, by the way. Now, this one is definitely more than likely going to be seen here. Yeah, I should have a fairly spotted Swiftblade there. So they know what's up, but that only means one thing.
Final stand, boys. Yep. This is it.
This is the possible, very possible final stand indeed. Magnus, he's able to tap it away from a stun. At least survives for now. Got the refreshment rune there. Almost costing him his life, but hey, he got it, and he pulled keys away, actually. So we'll stall him from doing Conquer, at least. There's the plus side. But you have a Swiftblade with a Dancing Blade currently on him. And very likely a Wingbow to follow. And, oh, by the way, the bottom lane is being pushed in very heavily by a Creep Wave. So that's something Coolio's going to have to address here. And obviously Tree's very aware of that. They say, you know what? We'll just still sit in this area. We'll play the sitting game. Meanwhile, your base is being destroyed. And they're just fine with that. You see Madman going to scout it out. Now, Magnus actually stuns in. I don't think that... Okay, they are going to follow up on the different page, though. That clearly was not meant to be an initiation. Chronos thought it was. And now, will this backfire in the long run is the question. Stock back in. No, Madman's not going to chase further. However, Witch Slayer's like, gotcha. No. And then Portica's away. Magnus says, gotcha back. And now here comes a Chronos field now. By Chronos. Magnus immediately picked off, though they do take out Witch Slayer. But look at those Swift Slashes tearing up the Legion team. Clanks dead before it began, it felt like. GG, well played. Game 3 and the series will officially go to Willowkeeper. It wasn't easy, and definitely to the surprise of many, including Willowkeeper, I'm sure. But when it's all said and done, they do get the W, and once again, that's what matters. So they'll be staying alive in the winner's bracket. They'll be moving on. So will Coolio, but just in the loser's bracket now, which they'll continue on into the weekend.
Yeah, really well played though from Coolio. I mean, I didn't expect them to do that well, honestly. Obviously, a newly formed team practically just for the playoffs, and they take a game of 3, and arguably they could have won that game 3 as well. But I think the biggest factors in that game 3 in particular is that Boxy, man on the offlane, just had too big of an impact. They really did shut down the Clanks, not only in the lane, but in a couple of pick-offs as well from Kraken, which is really, really well played. Probably because they play Clanks themselves quite a lot, know exactly how to counter the hero. And a couple of poor executions from Coolio in terms of the team fights as well. The Cronus and Magma's just not on the same page at sometimes, but to be expected, obviously. Obviously, they're not on the same team, haven't played a lot together. But obviously, there is a loser's bracket. They can bounce back, obviously, and I mean, they have a possibility to win this Group A, honestly, with a bit more practice.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree there. It's a bit more practice, and again, they got a little bit of time here at least to try to make that happen as far as that's concerned. But no doubt, it's not the easiest task, especially when you not only have Willowkeeper, but a couple other teams like Fresh and Night Raid, and of course even the others. And speaking of that, as far as where they are now, an update on the brackets here. So I believe this is how it will work with where the losers bracket team ends up. But anyways, Willowkeeper, of course, moving on. They'll face the winner of Fresh versus Night Raid, which is played on Thursday, of course. Coolio gets bumped down to the losers bracket. They'll play Solaire Club down there in the losers bracket, and I believe that would be on Saturday on the weekend. Again, we can confirm the time there eventually, but it's all on HotTour.com. You can check out the playoff portal for all that information as well. So an interesting day 1 to kick it off here for the playoffs. Definitely, again, in a lot of people's minds, and I understandably probably thinking this could have been a quicker series, but Coolio really putting up a good fight right there, forcing at least a third game and making it pretty interesting all throughout. But Willowkeeper does come through in the end, and they are your winners for today. But again, still plenty of work to be done, not only here in the group bracket, but then, of course, eventually the championship bracket if you happen to advance on. So that is going to be wrapping things up, though, for today, with that said. So, Minnie, any final words, any comments here before we wrap up?
No, obviously just shout out to Trey, obviously, congratulations on their win. And Coolio, I think they'd be kind of pleased with that, though, honestly. Although they did lose, I think they sort of shown themselves that they can compete, even the best in their own group. And I think they could definitely be contenders for Thailand as well, honestly, Breaky. They'll have a bit more practice now as well. If they get a couple of scrims in, get some things really worked out, I think, honestly, that they could do well. Yeah.
It's a little bit of practice, and hey, like I said, they got some time here. They got the weekend now coming up. They got a team in Solaire Club that they can match up well against, and before you know it, as he said, you make it through the losers bracket. Sure, maybe not in the winners, but one from the losers and one from the winners will eventually be making it on. And hey, they now got the losers bracket to focus on. So, ladies and gentlemen, though, that is going to be wrapping it up for today. As far as our next cast, again, we're going to be coming back on Thursday, and that will be the other winner bracket matchup: Fresh versus Night Raid. Fresh, of course, formerly known as Dawn. Night Raid, a team that earlier on in the season we knew plenty about. Kind of tapered off a little bit in the later part, was in that gold division, but still staying strong. They qualified here for the playoffs, of course. And again, as far as I'm concerned, they really, even out both of the groups, they're kind of that dark horse team for me. Sure, being America helps, but they got some big player names such as Cookies, and it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against Fresh there in that one. So again, that's on Thursday. Now the time might be a little bit different because they are, somewhat of a West Coast team. 12 o'clock at 9 a.m. for them, maybe a little bit early. They are possibly looking at a rescheduling for later in the day, so we'll have an update for you that I'm sure by tomorrow, if anything. But it will be on Thursday, from my understanding. So at the very least, we got that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be wrapping up here. Once again, congratulations to Willowkeeper. Playoffs, baby. We are here, and we are getting things just started. The next 3